from Boston, this is WEBN News.
The British Parliament has voted to postpone the Brexit deadline, which was scheduled for March 29th. The move comes a day after it voted against leaving the European Union with an agreement, and 2 days after Parliament rejected Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal. The vote to postpone the deadline now goes to the European Union for approval. In a rare bipartisan vote, Republicans and Democrats voted to overturn President Trump's declaration of a national emergency because of the immigration crisis with Mexico. The vote was 59-41 against the president's executive action. Though the Senate doesn't have enough votes to override a certain veto by the president, Congress did strike an embarrassing blow to President Trump. His top campaign pledge was for a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. The major setback comes after the Senate dealt the president another blow to halt the U.S. military support for Saudi Arabia in its war against Yemen. Turning to another response to the tragedy, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh announced he will attend a service at the Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center in Roxbury. The mayor will be joined by Police Commissioner William Gross, as well as city faith leaders. Walsh condemned the attack in New Zealand, in which a tweet reads, "Boston's thoughts are with New Zealand and with Muslims all across the world as we mourn the loss of innocent lives taken from us in a place of peace and worship." Thanks, Nisa. While we may be in the spring season, it won't necessarily feel that way today. The city of Boston will only reach a high of around 47 degrees. It'll be sunny for most of the day, but beware of those clouds lurking by night. Later tonight, we can expect temperatures to reach a low of 38 degrees. Rain will be in the forecast starting around 9 p.m. and will last well into the night. West and east, we will see temperatures closer to freezing, but overall similar weather and cloud coverage. Heavier rain will be expected in Worcester. The week ahead in Boston will have varied but tolerable weather. Expect a pleasant weekend with Saturday's high of 66 and Sunday's high of 62 degrees. Saturday will see some light rain early in the morning, but should give way to partly cloudy skies by noon. Sunday will be a mix of clouds and sun. Monday has consistent rain until early evening with a high of 52, while Tuesday will just be cloudy with no rain with a high of 58. That's all I have for the weather. Back to you, Yao Ling and Nisa. Former moderate Massachusetts governor in the 90s and 2016 Libertarian vice presidential nominee William Weld is forming an exploratory committee to run for president. Weld switched his party registration from Republican to Libertarian to run for vice president in 2016, but announced 10 days ago that he had switched back to the GOP. The House and the Senate approved a spending bill to avoid another government shutdown and distribute annual funding to all government agencies. The deal gave President Donald Trump $1.3 billion in border security funding, $4.4 billion less than he'd asked for. Despite this, Trump signed the bill into law on Friday, but later he signed a national emergency declaration so he could take $8 billion from other government programs. Former Republican Massachusetts Governor William Weld has formed an exploratory committee, the first step towards running for president in the 2020 election. Weld is the first Republican to go against Trump during next year's primaries. Political analysts say defeating Trump will be challenging, but not impossible. Weld, who ran for vice president as a Libertarian in 2016, made the announcement at a traditional politics and eggs breakfast in Bedford, New Hampshire. In his speech, Weld said President Trump has alienated, insulted, and humiliated the nation's allies while encouraging authoritarian leaders. Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar also entered the presidential sweepstakes in Minneapolis in front of 9,000 people in the middle of a snowstorm. Klobuchar outlined her agenda for universal health care, climate change, gun control, and criminal justice. Within hours of her speech, President Trump mocked the senator's speech on Twitter. He said, "Amy Klobuchar, fighting global warming while standing in a blizzard of snow. Bad timing." Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker became the first sitting governor to visit the Islamic Society of Boston's Cultural Center, the largest mosque in New England. Baker attended a prayer service and met with leaders of the mosque. Baker reflected on his visit, saying, quote, "The vast majority of people that I talk to in communities of faith, the languages are different, the stories are different, but the meaning is the same." He was shot and killed in the middle of closing up shop at his gas station. As you can see, he was a beloved member of the community.
I've known him for over 10 years. I know, we all miss him, We're good friends, good co-workers, you know? Every now and then we would help each other out with monetary, solutions. You know, when we needed a favor, like a shift change or something, we would always help each other out.
Apparently, Williams wasn't the only man who fell victim and died to gun violence. Just this morning, a 19-year-old got fatally shot in this general area. Police tape marks the scene.
It becomes a numbers game now. Well, one day it's just going to be me. If I'm just going to the gas station, somebody might shoot me. So we really have to enforce law and really make our presence felt in our communities. Our neighborhood is changing for the better. So we need to become more inviting.
Ali Mohammed works with the Dorchester Community Health Center and a number of other organizations. Michael Kulsu of Project Right had some ideas as to what one can do if they feel affected by violence in the neighborhood.
That's going on here. This is the third homicide in this immediate area within the last month, so we are very clearly concerned about what's going on. People can contact us is Project Right 617-541-5454 extension 102 617-541-5454 extension 102.
Resident Dexter Holliday was clearly shaken.
It's actually gotten out of control, to be honest with you, because it wasn't always quiet, but I mean, I grew up around this neighborhood and my parents still live here. So, I've seen it go up and down.
I'm Dodge Landesman. Back to you. The city of Ciudad Juarez hosted their second annual Borderland Festival at the Chamizal Park in the Plaza de la Mexicanidad in front of the newly built X. Over 7,000 residents of both El Paso and Juarez attended, bringing the two cities together. Denilson Gonzalez has a popular YouTube channel within the city.
For you because it's a way that the United States can see what Mexico is like, that not everything is violence, that we have a great culture,
Music fans gathered to see over 18 acts altogether from both Mexico and the USA. Fans were eager to get an opportunity to show the real side of Ciudad Juarez, apart from the mostly negative coverage the city is used to. While there were many popular acts local to Mexico, the highlight for many fans was Drake Bell's appearance, best known for the popular Nickelodeon show Drake and Josh. There is a burgeoning cultural movement, a burgeoning music scene emerging within the city. From KVIA in Ciudad Juarez, I'm Dodge Landesman. But the congressman mentioned that he chose the location because it was owned by a Mexican immigrant. During his speech, the congressman addressed on a whole host of issues, from health care to criminal justice reform, as well as immigration.
Common goals, the common cause, and the common ground upon which we stand. Before you're a Republican or a Democrat, from a big city or a small town, you are an American and my fellow human being.
From Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm Dodge Landesman. Back to you. Hello and welcome to Political Pulse Polling. I'm Dodge Landesman. With me today from Emerson College Polling is Isabel Holloway and Sonali Anand. What does the Senate poll show about the electorate in Nevada? Dean Heller's at 48%, Jackie Rosen 41%, so there's been a little bit of a flip, which is kind of interesting. What would you say about that?
Like a lot of people are predicting that younger turnout does go up, then we expect to see this race tighten a bit.
Right, that'll be interesting to see where all the young people go, big college population. And it says that both candidates are polarizing figures in their own way. How so? I mean, it's interesting to kind of see Heller's shift, who was originally quite anti-Trump, but now has kind of changed his tune.
Yeah, well, with Heller, he didn't endorse Trump in 2016.
They both also have net unfavorable ratings, so that's interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. I think Rosen is at 45% unfavorable. Heller's at 46%.
But both of those are more than what favorability rates they have in the state as well. So.
Right, interesting.
It'll be an interesting race to look at.
And yeah, I mean, it says that more young people support Rosen. Do you think young voters can be a deciding factor in Nevada in particular? Rosen, for example, is at 59% with young people. Heller is only at 30%, so big gap there.
Yeah, we do traditionally see that Democrats do better with the younger electorate.
And there's another race on the ballot, which I think has gotten some less attention. What does the governor's poll tell us? Laxalt is at 46. Steve Sisolak is at 41%.
Again, in that race, we're seeing that the Republican, Adam Laxalt, does have a slight advantage. It's a little bit smaller than the advantage that Dean Heller has. But Adam Laxalt is up a little bit in this race.
It also has to do with their history as well. Adam Laxalt was the Attorney
General
of Nevada, yeah, while Sisolak, I don't believe, had a previous
Yeah, he hasn't held public office before. He's just a businessman, you know?
Right, and that's the interesting part too. He's like kind of a part of this political scion family. Grandfather was involved in Nevada politics, ran for president back in the day, so even a national figure, so that's kind of interesting.